So today I'm going to make some ginger beer for my husband because he absolutely loves the stuff. It's been a little while since I've made some, and it's actually pretty simple to make. You just need to have what's called a ginger bug started, which is nothing more than ginger with sugar and water. Now, I've had mine going for probably maybe 2 months, if not 3. And what you want to see in your ginger bug, I don't know if you can see it here. If I shake it a little bit, you're going to see bubbles come up to the top, and that means it's ready to go. So it's really pretty simple. I've got 2 quarts of water already in my pot ready to go. And then I've got 1/4 of a cup of grated ginger here, and you just toss that in there. And then you can do, based upon the level of sweetness you want, up to 1.5 cups or so of sugar in it. Typically, I just do 1 cup because my husband enjoys the burn that the ginger beer gives him. So once you have those ingredients added into your pot here, all you do is pop that on the stove, bring it to a boil, and then you simmer it for 5 to 8 minutes, and then you let it cool. So we're going to go ahead and get this on the stove and get it boiling. Okay, so it's been a few hours and the base for my ginger beer has cooled down, and this is what it looks like. So the next thing we're going to do is actually put it into a bottle that's got one of these tops on it here that seals tightly. And then we're going to put our funnel on here, and I lined it with cheesecloth so that will catch all of the shredded ginger that's in here, because obviously we don't want that in our drink. So you just slowly start pouring it in there, and it's going quite slow. That's not unusual when the cheesecloth gets sucked down into the bottom of that funnel, so it really stops it from flowing the way that it should. But after it's gotten a little bit wet, I can go ahead and take and pull it up some, and then I just put a binder clip on it to hold that up closer. And then you just continue pouring it in. All right, and once that has all filtered into your bottle, you can also do these in like the individual soda size. I just like doing it in this big bottle. And then I just squeeze that last little bit out. And then I take the ginger and just throw that into my food grinder. Next, we're going to set this aside for a minute. We need to get 1/2 cup of our ginger bug. So I just put my funnel in my measuring cup there, and I'm going to start spooning some of this in, ginger and all. And I can tell you, this smells like really strong. That means it's a good ginger bug. Now, when you use some of your ginger bug, you're going to want to obviously feed it again. It's very similar to feeding sourdough, only you're giving it, adding water, and then giving the same amount of chopped ginger to sugar. So if you're doing a tablespoon of chopped ginger, you'll also do a tablespoon of sugar. Okay, so you'll see in my jar here, in my bottle, that there is still some room in there. If your jar gets a little too full, because you really don't want to fill it too full, because that fermentation process is going to create gases and whatnot. So you need some air space at the top. And the last thing we add to this is the juice of 3 lemons. I don't have fresh lemons today, so I am just going to use bottled lemon juice. And I am going to put probably 5 tablespoons in. And that brings me up to about the maximum amount of fluid I am going to want to put in this bottle. So next thing is, obviously you're going to go ahead and seal it. And then you just give it a gentle little back and forth a few times. And you are going to want to do this once or twice a day after you just let this sit on your counter. And tilt it back and forth a couple times a day. But the other important thing that you have to remember to do is you have to burp your lid, because that fermentation is building up gases in there. So to burp your lid, you just loosen it. I do it slowly. It says do it at least once a day. I'm overly cautious because I don't want it to explode on me. So I usually do it 2 to 3 times a day. Whenever I'm fixing meals, I'll go ahead and just burp it, which also tells me how close it is to being ready, depending upon the amount of fizz that I have got coming up in my bottle. Typically sitting on the counter at around 70 degrees in our house, this is going to take 2 days to be ready. After that point, I suggest putting it in the refrigerator, which helps slow the fermentation process. I don't have to worry about this because my husband could drink this whole thing in a day, honestly. So that's how you make ginger beer.